If you are not consistently catching big bass every session, you are obviously fishing completely, probably correctly. You're probably actually not really doing anything wrong, despite what all the content creators and pros are telling you in the bass fishing community.
First big of the
You're most likely fishing correctly enough to be able to consistently catch big bass. You probably have the right technique, you probably have the right lures, you probably have the right equipment if you fish on a somewhat regular basis. You probably are fishing correctly. Your technique or how you rig your Senko to your hook or what color you're using has nothing to do with catching a lot of bass. So when you see these videos of big bass fishing content creators or pros or semi-pros or retired pros telling you you're doing everything wrong, do not listen to them. You're probably not. Okay? Don't feel inadequate. Don't feel like you have to purchase their stuff. Don't feel like you have to use their links to support them. Right? Like, don't feel inadequate. All right? Because you're probably doing most things correctly. But if you're not catching a lot of bass, and by the way, I'm talking about every session. I'm talking about catching like 3, 4, 5 pounders every session, consistently, almost every session. If you're not doing that, it's probably because of one main reason, and that is because you're fishing spots that don't hold bass, and or you're not fishing in lakes that provide the opportunity for multiple schools of big bass to exist. And this sounds kind of silly and obvious, and I'm not trying to insult you, but that if you are the least bit knowledgeable about how to fish for bass, you're probably doing most things, everything correctly. Right? And the only reason you're not consistently catching big bass is because you're in spots that don't hold a lot of bass, or you're in lakes that can't provide the type of forage that bass need to exist. That, large numbers of big bass to exist. And it's a little bit frustrating on my end to see these people trying to make you feel stupid, because they know damn well that you can't catch bass if you're fishing spots that don't hold a lot of bass, and they know damn well which spots hold a lot of bass and why they hold a lot of bass, and they're not telling you that. And it is a bit frustrating. It's a little bit insulting, like as an angler, to watch these guys just lie to people. And so I just want to let you know that, like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're probably just not fishing in spots that have a lot of bass. Because if you did, you could rig a French fry to your drop shot hook, and as long as you drop it in front of their direction where they're looking, they probably will strike it. It might take a couple attempts, 2 or 3 attempts, but they'll strike it. They'll strike a French fry. Okay? So it's not how you rig your fluke. Okay? It's not how you angle your Senko as you put it on your shaky head, or where you cut your Senko, or where you bite it off, or what glue you use to keep it to your jig head. Like, it's just so ridiculous to see this. If you want to start catching big bass every session consistently, I would recommend you start assessing the forage levels in your lake. Can they support a lot of big bass? Can the lake support a lot of big bass? Do you see bait everywhere you go? Either with your eyes or on your down scan. When you're pulling into the cove, do you see bluegills there? Do you see pockets of minnows and bluegill all the time? Or rarely ever? When you're pulling into your coves, Do you see balls and balls of bait on your down scan all the time, or rarely ever?
Right before I want to go home too.
If the answer is rarely ever to both, perhaps find a new lake. Keep searching. Right? Bass need to eat a lot of bait fish to survive. Right? And there needs to be a lot of bait fish to support multiple schools of big bass. Right? When that water gets warm, they feed a lot. Okay? They eat a lot of bait fish. So, your lake needs a lot of bait fish. You need to see it on your down scan or with your eyes all the time. Those are where you want to live. Those lakes or those part of the lakes, that's where you want to live. That's really where you want to focus from there, right? Another good indication is bird life. Is there a lot of bird life in your lake? Because birds need to eat a lot of bait fish. If there's, if you pull into a pocket or an area in your lake and you see multiple families of birds, like ducks or loons or whatever, that's a good indication that there's a lot of bait, which provides the opportunity for a lot of big bass. After you find your areas that have a lot of bait or your lakes that have a lot of bait, I would say the next tip I would have for you, the recommendation would be to use forward-facing sonar. Install it, figure out how to use it. Not to cheat, right, but to learn. And you get offshore in that 10-12 foot range on lakes that have a lot of bass, a lot of bait, and you're going to see, it's going to open your eyes to just how many bass are in that 10, 12, 14 foot depth range, right? It also gets you offshore a bit and sort of lessens the pressure on the banks. So it's only a good thing. But forward-facing sonar, you can learn a lot from it. And if pros are telling you that it's cheating, those pros probably sell their waypoints, okay? Right? So whether they're pros or former pros or semi-pros, they have fishing seminars. And in those seminars, they have packages. And in those packages, they sell their waypoints of where they catch their fish to the people that are buying their seminars. Okay, so they're cheating too, right? So don't worry about it. Don't listen to them. Use it for yourself to start thinking for yourself, okay? Forward-facing sonar is a wonderful thing for bass fishing. Tip 3, I would recommend being very in tune with what's happening to the temperature of the water. Whenever it's rising, it'll be easier to catch bass. Whenever it's getting colder, it'll be more difficult to catch bass. You're gonna have to fish slower when it's getting colder, and you can use more search baits and horizontal presentations when the water's getting warmer. All right, when the water's getting warmer, they have to feed more. So keep that in mind. Always try to fish where the water's warmer. Try to understand what happens when fall approaches. Which part of the lakes get colder first? The middle of the lake or the edges? In the fall, what grass dies first? Grass in deeper water and grass in shallow water.
That's a good one.
You might want to figure that out, the banks. Right, and so just be in tune with what's happening with the temperature of the water and the nighttime lows, right, and what's happening, and try to always fish where the water's the warmest. Because those areas, if they have bait in them, will usually hold active bass.
For sure.
Aside from that, I would say always retie after every bass you catch. Retie your lure. Make sure your hooks are sharp. And I would say that you need to know how to do a hook set for different presentations. Like when you're running a square bill, you want a vertical.
It might be
hook
5
set.
pounds.
Whereas if you're doing like a swim bait at like 8 feet, or like a chatter bait at like 6 or 8 feet, you want more of a sweeping hook set. But you have to figure that out. So you can't just do the same hook set every time and be successful. There are different hook sets that apply to the technique you're presenting to the bass. But that's a whole different video. And I just want to let you know, I really made this video because I realized like
My first
I'm actually
chatterbait
a really good angler.
bass.
I just was fishing in spots that don't hold bass and lakes that don't have many bass in them. And you know, when I found that out, my whole perception of everything changed, and now it's like trying to find the lakes that have of obviously wild presence of life forms, whether it's what you see with your eye or what you see on your electronics. But those are the areas in the lakes that I want to live in, because that's going to put me in the best opportunity to catch big bass all the time. And it's not how I put my Senko on my hook. Okay? All right. So you're a lot better angler than you think. You just need to find where the bass are staying and put that lure in front of them, and you're going to get a lot more strikes. Spinner bait. Just burning it off this bank right here, this point. Oh! Yeah. Yep.